morning. My name is George. I'm the pastor here at Gordon Kingdom Memorial United Church. And on behalf of the Menard family, I'm very pleased to welcome you all here and to thank you for your sign of support and encouragement. It's good to be gathered together as family and friends and neighbors. We are going to have a service of remembrance, a celebration, a telling of stories. And I have a feeling that there are lots of stories about Merle that could be told, and it's going to be delightful to hear some of them. There's one thing that's necessary for you to do, and that's to check to make sure your cell phone is turned off. We'd like Merle to be the center of attention today, and you could be if you wish. But what I'd like to do is to begin our service. There will be a reception following, so you're all invited to come downstairs and just to enjoy some treats, but also just to encourage the family with your supports. And to begin our service, what I'd like to do is to say a short prayer of gratitude for the life that Merle lived among us. And I'll ask you to lift up your spirit, open your heart, and we will give thanks. Creator, you are the one who made everything that is made. You made the heavens above and the earth below. You are the one who gives us the gift of life. Today we are grateful for the life that Merle Menard lived among us. We are grateful for her character. We are grateful for all that she shared with us. We are grateful, O God, for her life's memories, her marriage, her children, her involvement with athletics, her skills, all the gifts that were in her that radiated from her and affected us all. We ask you to be present in this room by your Spirit, knowing that Merle has joined you. We ask you, O God, to bless us with peace and with hope. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh Lord, my God, When this sunbeam shines through the rosewood door, perhaps I can feel my ears. We're going to hear a few words from people in the family.
This is a glorious spot. Hello, I'm Michael Menard, my wife Kathy, for those of you that didn't know us. I'm the baby of the family and Mom's favorite. Serendipitous was one of the words my mom liked. And the following came across my Facebook page following Mom's death, and the timing was very serendipitous. It sounded like something she would have read, so I would like to share it with you. Every minute, someone leaves this world behind. We are all in the line without knowing it. We never know how many people are before us. We cannot move to the back of the line. We cannot step out of line. We cannot avoid the line. So, while we wait in line, make moments count. Make priorities. Make the time. Make your gifts known. Make a nobody feel like a somebody. Make your voice heard. Make the small things big. Make someone smile. Make the change. Make love. Make up. Make peace. Make sure you tell people they are loved. Make sure you have no regrets. Make sure you're ready. Now, Kath would like to share a few words.
Mère is one of my all-time favorite people. She was unflappable, no nonsense, clever, and ever fearless to jump into new things and try or say anything. I found in Mère a kindred spirit, a fellow gardener, a grammar corrector, and a Ziploc bag washer. You could always rely on her for blunt, straightforward, and often unsolicited observations and advice. It was like the little voice inside your head that you always ignore was speaking out loud. We often exchanged food items, and we would give her tiny Mère-sized portions of our family meals, and she would drop off whatever random baking items she had made. Some of her baking was amazing. However, she had become a little creative with her use and substitution of ingredients. And you were never sure if you were going to get meat bits in the cupcakes or fruit bits in the meatloaf, and she would often try to use up whatever random odds and ends she had in the house. Being unconventional and ever frugal, she often gave out cards for birthdays that said, "Merry Christmas" or "Get well soon," crossing off what didn't apply and adding in her own words. When Mike and the boys and I all moved in together, she gave me a sympathy card. With nothing crossed out. This says, "Welcome to the family." She was quick to laugh, and I always loved when I was able to delight her with a gift or something unexpected. She would explain, "Oh," and then giggle like a schoolgirl. It was very charming. I'm so grateful for the time I had with her, and grateful for the wonderful family that I'm still fortunate to spend time with. I'm happiest when I'm in with my plants and with my hands in the dirt, and Mère and I shared gardening stories. And she will be close to my heart when I tend my garden and think of things that she might be saying. So whenever I'm missing her, I will paraphrase her advice, and I will garden and smile and think of her waiting just around the corner.
When my dad died, I was young. I had no experience with such things. He was only a few years older than I am now. And Dad's death hit me pretty hard. I was morose. I did take solace in the fact that he died doing something that he loved. He was curling. I believe Mom did too. She was at home reading. With Mom's death, I've got a few more years under my belt. I'm better equipped to deal with it. I'd always heard the term a celebration of life, but I never really understood that phrase. It does, however, seem appropriate. Mom was full of life. Full of piss and vinegar, she would have said. Another expression that I've always heard at times like this is, there will never be another like her. And there may be a ring of truth about that one too. I do hear echoes of my mom in all of my siblings. Although Lex is too nice, Cam and I are too quiet. So our best hope lies with Glenda. They are big shoes to fill, but I think she's doing admirably. Mom had a great sense of humor and irony. She was practical, blunt, honest, and welcoming. Some of those to a fault, and I'll leave you to decide which. Her door was always open to our roster of friends. Each of us had friends in need at one time or another, and they were given love, aid, advice, mothering, and or shelter with no hesitation or expectation of repayment. I love my family. We came together immediately at this most difficult time. Everything else was dropped. Landa was at my door that same night. We realized that there's nothing more important than family. Our sense of humor that came down from our parents is always prevalent, and it eases the rough times. One of the first things my sister said to me is, well, now we are orphans. And so, from the orphan to Menard, thank you for coming. Remember our mom as she was to you. She lives on in all of us.
Good afternoon. I'm Landon. I'm Mary's grandson. There's Penny, you know me, there's a few times I've been speechless in my life. All I seem to do is talk. Probably 23 years ago, it was one of the first times I was speechless, was on the stage at a grade 6 Christmas pageant. It's been that long since I've been here. We moved away when I was 14 or 12 to Lethbridge, but there was one thing I could always count on. There was always an open door. And when we got back here, and it was the first stop we made. Well, Salisbury House. But it was to my marriage house next. And I watched through the bay window as she got up, get her foot out of the bucket, and come to the door to greet us with a big hug. One of the other times I was speechless, I was 12 years old, and we were coming back from the North American Indigenous Games. And it was Mom and my mare and I driving back from Minneapolis. Apparently I was talking long. She looked at the back seat and said, "Would you just shut up?" And it was with love.
Because you talk from Minneapolis.
I thank my mare for raising 4 great kids, and they passed it on to us as their kids, and she passed it on to us as grandchildren. Some of us have families now, some with families, I'm sure it comes in. She raised you guys right, and it's chose every day. loving, open arms through thick and thin. I haven't always been an easy kid or son, but it didn't matter. Mary was always there, and so was the rest of the family. This speaking isn't really, I can talk in a room full of people, to 10 people, but speaking in a room full of people at a microphone is not me. It's really strange because I love to talk. Got that from my dad. But it doesn't matter when I come to Winnipeg from now until the end of time. I'll still drive by church every day. Number 22. Look at that. Looking that bay window, imagine Mary with that foot out of that old bucket of water. And just know she's still there. She's here with us today. It's a beautiful, beautiful service. I thank Gordon King for being able to host us here. I love you, Mary.
Yeah, and everyone, thank you for coming. It's gonna be a tough one too.
We thought about what song we would play. At first we thought, well, what would annoy her? And we came up with like 400 songs. And then we thought, well, what did she always ask for? And we came up with one song.
My brother and I have been playing music together to some form or another for about 8, 9, 10 years now.
She was always there.
She always supported us.
Every show she could get her foot out of the bucket for. She was there. And afterwards she told us how loud we were. Turn it down, don't use so much fuzz. Yeah.
We take it into consideration, but it would go out the window during the show. We thought long and hard about this, and the one song she always asked for was one of my favorite Johnny Cash songs. So we're going to do Sunday Morning Coming Down.
Then
got to know Merle was on Sunday morning. And she did look kind of quiet, and she did look kind of pensive. So I'm guessing that maybe Saturday night was a bit more exciting than Sunday morning. I knew Merle only a little bit, but she was somebody who I began to admire. There's something that she struggled with, her health, and I knew that the first time I got here. And what I admired about it, you never saw that struggle when she was with you. She just lived her life in a good way. And I have the feeling that we now are sitting here in the shadow of death, but I have this sense that Merle had no fear concerning the shadow of death, that she was going to live her life right up until the period at the end of the sentence. And my guess is that she's continuing to live her life now in the presence of God, an unseen realm, but a realm that is real to her and is real to many of us. I like to call the unseen realm the story realm. We live in a material world. We live our lives. But what animates us, what strengthens us, what encourages us is the stories we hear and the stories we tell. I have a couple of texts that I was thinking about in preparing for this moment. One was from the Gospel of John, and was talking about this person named Jesus. And what John says is that Jesus went about doing good, cheering people up, encouraging people, strengthening people. And then John goes on to say that if everything Jesus said and did was written down, there wouldn't be enough books in the world to contain it all. And my sense is that if we started telling stories about Merle, we'd be here for a very long time. We'd have to probably break for a little nibble now and then, and maybe a little nosh to wash it down. Another story I thought of was, again, about Jesus. And Jesus was known as a sower of seed. Everywhere he went, he was sowing seed. He was saying things. He was telling stories. He was telling jokes. He was making people feel better about their experience of life. And my sense is that Merle, too, was a sower of seed. That is to say, the character that was in her came out of her and landed in your hearts and in your minds and in your imaginations. And for those of you who were closest to her, those seeds of character took root in you. And now, she's gone from our sight, she's alive in the story world, and she's alive in you. There is a whole lot of her at work in you. You were shaped by her character. Now, one thing I admired, and I know Merle's brother Brian, and Brian is quite the athletic person, and it was a surprise to me to discover that Merle, too, was something of an athlete in her youth. In fact, she was an exemplary athlete, winning many, many prizes, winning many, many trophies, and getting all kinds of accolades. She was good at what she did. And I thought I might leave you with a little bit of advice from the Apostle Paul, another person we like to listen to in the church as an encourager and supporter. And the Apostle Paul said, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable crown." I believe that if I could speak for Merle for just a moment, that would be an encouragement to you. Run the race of your life so that you get the goal. Do the best that you can. Be the best person that you have the capacity to be. And in this way, let her life live in you. And let her, as she watches us from that sunlit place way on high, let her be proud of who you are becoming. And then in the day of reunion, it will be such a great joy to be reunited with this person who I think lived an exemplary life. I'm looking forward to hearing some more stories.
I am Alexis. I am the third born child and my mother's favorite. Mom loved to sing, and there was a song for everything. You would be amazed at the songs that she could come up with for every circumstance, however bizarre. There was a song. Sometimes they would come to her at 4 in the morning from her youth. Sometimes she would make them up. Sometimes they were just there. My mom played in the band. This is our worship band, the church. She played in the band. This is her spot right here, between Kieran and I. And we left a spot for her. All the songs that we did in the prelude were her favorite songs to sing in the band. And she played harmonica sometimes too. And this is another one of her favorites that she wanted to do at her funeral.
I'm Brian, one of Merle's 2 remaining brothers, and of course, I was absolutely the favorite. But Bob will come up and say something a little different. Alexis and Lana and Michael and Cameron asked me to read a couple of scriptures, so I chose a couple. First one is from the Beatitudes. When Jesus saw his ministry drawing huge crowds, he climbed the hillside. Those who were apprenticed to him, the committed climbed with him. Arriving at a quiet place, he sat down and taught us. climbing companions. This is what he said. You're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there's more of God in His rule. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. You're blessed when you're content with just who you are, no more, no less. That's the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that can't be bought. You're blessed when you work up a good appetite for God. His food and drink is the best meal that you'll ever eat. You're blessed when you care at the moment of being careful. You find yourselves cared for. You're blessed when you get your inside world, your mind and heart put right. Then you can see God in the outside world. And the second one, I actually read this one at my brother Don's funeral quite a few years back, and had a few words to say about that. So it's from John 14. Don't let this throw you. You trust God, don't you? Trust me. There's plenty of room for you in my Father's home. If that weren't so, I would have told you that I'm on my way to get a room ready for you. If I'm on my way to get a room ready, I'll come back and get you, so that you can live where I live, and you already know the road I'm taking. Thomas said, Master, we have no idea where you're going. How do you expect us to know the road? Jesus said, I am the road, also the truth, also the life. No one gets to the Father apart from me. If you really knew me, you would know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him, you even seen him. Most of my, I shouldn't say most, a lot of my thoughts come when I'm sleeping. So if there is any hypnotist in the house, if you can just work your magic, put me to sleep, I've got a lot to say. And right now it is 20 to 11 in Rome. We just got back from Rome last night, so I'm working a little bit on adrenaline. But mentioned a couple of people, Keith and Landon, mentioned the famous bucket. Whenever I visited Merle, a lot of times I was ring the doorbell, I think, oh shoot, nobody's home. I come all this way, we live in Steinbach, by the way. Come all this way, there's nobody there. And I'm thinking, I gotta leave. Oh, I'll wait a little longer. Of course, the foot is in the bucket, takes her a while to get downstairs and answer the door. So I waited maybe 3 or 4 minutes every time I came, just to make sure she was home. George mentioned that I do a little bit of athletics. Probably it runs in the family. But Merle got mad at me one time. My dad, he was an old codger. Oh boy. Merle complained to me one time, that son of a gun. I'm not sure if she said gun or not. But anyway, he never ever came to watch me play. And all the years that Merle played basketball, fast pitch, whatever she was playing, mostly those two, he never ever came to watch me play. And I played senior fast pitch for a number of years. I was pretty good. And Mom and Dad lived on Gordon Avenue. And every time we played it, my team played in Winnipeg, there'd be Mom and Dad looking out their window, waiting for me to come by to pick them up and watch their favorite son play sports. And when Merle found this out, she let me have it. She said, oh, anyway, speaking of sports again, Merle's Rambler team, I know Shirley Brown is in the audience too, I think. She wanted to see me. One of Merle's co-players way back in the 50s. And this is where I was introduced to swearing. I was the bad boy on this Ramblers team that was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And we're sitting on the bench, and I guess the umpire wasn't making calls in favor of the Ramblers. And I'm not going to say it was Merle that said this, but it was some members of her team. They said some bad words to the umpire. I won't repeat what they said because I can't remember. But the umpire stopped the game, and he's walking over to the bench, and Merle and the players said, Brian, don't tell the umpire that it was us that said it. So I was the fall guy and that was my first introduction to bad words. Merle trusted us to babysit. You wouldn't believe it, but now I'm the oldest one in our family. I'm the matriarch, so you're not really orphans anymore, you guys. And Merle, she doesn't look like 85, and I'm just turned 71, but I feel like about 51. And Landa can vouch for this. I can still run pretty good.
I couldn't believe it.
I think there was one game when we went to Alberta that I think I ran for myself and I ran for these younger guys that couldn't run. I think I scored 4 runs, but anyway, that's another story. And I speak at church a number of times, and I see I don't know, she's giving me the sign. I'm waiting for a couple of my other church members back there to give me the sign. I'm talking too long, but I'll kind of say a few more things. This is my one and only chance. I don't usually say too much about my family gatherings. I'm pretty much just like Michael, strong, silent type. You don't hear too much from me, but now I've got a chance, and you're not going to get out of here without me saying a few words. I'll mention only a couple more. Singing. Nothing pleased me more when I found out that Merle was coming to church and singing. I couldn't believe it, really. And speaking of Merles, there's another Merle. I'm married to a Merle. When I first started dating, and I introduced Merle to Merle, I think she almost jumped out of her boots. 2 Merles in the same spot. How are we going to tell them apart? So I think it was my sister said, well, one will be known as Big Merle, and one will be known as Little Merle. But I'm not, you can judge who was big and who was little. But we babysat these monkeys here. And I think Bob was the worst of the lot because he scared the dickens out of these guys. I never did anything bad like that, right, Lexus?
Of course not.
Never. And way back when I was a little toddler, apparently I was a runaway kid. And I won't say it was Merle that suggested this, but we lived on Kennedy, right downtown in Winnipeg. And so that I wouldn't run away. They tied me up to a clothesline and I could only go a certain distance. And now, when we're walking, I can feel my own wife, Merle. Sometimes I walk pretty quick, and I feel this tug in the back of my pants, and it's my wife holding me back. So she's got that from my sister, Merle. Okay, I'll cut it off now. I can know you. But Alexis and Landa, you remember this? They came over. Well, they came to our house a number of times, but they saw me peeling potatoes. I don't know what I was using, but it wasn't very good. Laddie and Merle suggested that I might get a better potato peeler, and this is actually it. It's lasted 40 years. Merle's sister, Merle, I got a differentiation between the two. Sister's Merle's love is going to last just as long as this potato peeler. I think I'm going to try. My voice is not, I got a bad cold, but Merle liked the garden. And if you want to sing the chorus, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine. I've sung the song at a couple of funerals. Merle's mom and Merle's dad. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses.
The sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
And there is a third verse, but I promise, Merle, Sister Merle, you and I will sing that one together sometime.
Okay, I'm gonna borrow all the talent in my family, Holy Christmas, and I can't sing a beat, so don't have to remember that. I am Wanda Field. I am Merle Menard's oldest daughter, and of course, you know, I'm the favorite.
Right.
I've been around the longest. She's had more time for me to be her favorite. The other night, the boys, we're staying in the mayor's house, and the other night the boys are sitting there with their families, and the boys are sitting with their families, and I'm sitting in the spot that my mom always sat in. And they start laughing and look at me and go, oh, look at, it's Merle Little. So Michael might have something on that. Our mom was incredibly organized. She wasn't ready to die, but she knew she was 85 years old and it was going to happen someday. I live in Alberta. I come to Winnipeg at least twice a year and spend about a month with my mom. And every time she'd say, okay, you know the folder's over here, it's in the white cupboard. My obituary is always updated, but it's to get the latest copy, it'll be on the computer. So Jake went down first thing, so she told us all, pull out that folder, it's gonna have everything in it. It had everything in it. It had her, where to find this, where to find that, how she did her banking, and some of her wishes. She had a bookmark in there from David's funeral, and she wanted a bookmark, so please, if you didn't take one, grab one of each on your way out. She had notes about things that had happened in her life. So she would take a back of a calendar page and she'd write out as a story. When they bought their house in 1971, my grandfather came over with trees wrapped in, dyed with blue, and she talks about the trees and how they'd grown. She'd write a note about how one day her house was a mess and Uncle Brian stopped by and, oh my God, he must have been horrified. It was like just little random notes, so it was really fun going through those. My mom also wrote poetry. She wrote songs, and the poems were in there, and the songs were in there. She'd write poems about her foot, songs about her kids spending all the money, which we didn't do, but she made that song seem like it. She was a performer at my sister's coffee shop, Gordy's, and she would send these out, go, I'm going to do this at Gordy's this week. Great, Mom. She just was a character. When George said that my mom had character, I thought he was talking about she was a character, and she really was. My mom also had newspaper clippings. So you can't read this, but it says, if a sudden inheritance is a chance to take stock. So she wrote at the top, everybody must read this, or I won't come back to haunt you. And she crossed out, just like the cards, she crossed out the stuff she didn't like about the article. My mom decided that at one point, shortly after my dad died, she wanted to do something, so she wanted to go on she went on a dinosaur date. For 2 weeks, she was an archaeologist in southern Alberta. So she cut out the newspaper article and it says, I was there. I was there. This is where we found the bones. Like, she's pose nude, tastefully nude. So there's my mom in the middle because she volunteered. So they narrowed it down to these people, and then they picked 12. My mom didn't make the calendar, and she was ever so disappointed. But I thought I'd read for you because she is quoted in the paper as to why she would do it. I'm 72 years old, I weigh 132 pounds, and am 5'4" in height. My face wouldn't stop a clock, nor would I be a great success in Hollywood. But I would love to be chosen for the calendar. My children would think it great, and who knows what my grandchildren would think. Or my great-grandchildren. She also had, my mom loved Ann Landers. She would, when we were growing up, she would cut out Ann Landers posts and give them to us. The one she gave us about, the one I remember most was when I got my driver's license, and she gave me keys to the car, and there was an Ann Landers thing about it's a privilege to get the keys to the car, and it doesn't mean it's your car, but it was just her way of telling us stuff. So the one that she had in her, the important kids you need to know, was good rules for old age. So when your children tell you that we can't hear you, believe them. And again, she crossed out any she didn't like. My mom had in there also the story about my favorite child. And she gave us all one of those for Christmas, and it makes us all laugh. And favorite brothers, apparently. I know it's a big movement these days. There's books written, say yes for a year. My mother was the original say yes person. She would say yes to anything. Some of the examples: do you want to learn harmonica? Yes. And now she plays it in the band. Do you want to take a class on woodwork finishing? Yes. So she has 3 or 4 pieces in her house that she did. Do you want to go be an archaeologist for 2 weeks? Yes. Do you want to learn Spanish? Yes. Do you want to go to, Greece, Russia, on a cruise, on a road trip, camping? You want to go to a football game? Do you want to perform with the Wang Dang Doodle? We should all be more like my mom. When we were, Pat reminded me of this week, when we were kids, I think we were teenagers, my mom's wall, a piece of wallpaper, the feature wall, when you walk into her house, a piece of wallpaper had started to peel off. So we slowly, bit by bit, peeled the whole thing off. So now there's a blank wall. Well, then somebody wrote, "Cover me up." And then we just kept writing. And this whole feature wall was handwritten notes from people who'd been to the house. And when you came home, it was like race up the stairs to see if anybody had been there and written anything else out. So my mom was the original say yes, what's it gonna hurt? So please, as I said, take that with you and take that bit of her with you. One of the last things that we found was my mom had typed up a reading that she wanted us to read, and it said, "To my family," and I'm now going to ask my Uncle Bob to come up and read that out for us.
I promised my wife that if I said something that wasn't written down, that I actually should write it down. Otherwise, I might go on and on. Unlike Landon, I'm not known for speaking, and more like Brian and more like my dad Angus. Quiet, few words, sarcastic. But since I'm the last one, at least when I look at the agenda, I'm the last one to speak, so I can set the record straight. Brian was the favorite. Until I was born. Merle was Merle was married in about 1954, if I remember correctly. I was born in 1950. Brian was born in 1948.
47.
47. He was born September 47, so it's like 48. But I was born on January 1st, so you know exactly that whole year I was 1 year old for the whole year. September 8th or 3rd? 8th. Okay. So anyway, I was 4 when Merle was married, and shortly after that, well, shortly, in 1956, Lambda was born. So all of my growing up related to Merle and Laddie and Lambda and Lexus. Where's Michael? Where's Cameron? And Cameron. So my memories have to do with family and babysitting and learning to change diapers at whatever age we were at. I can remember the family's various places that they lived in. I remember going out to Selkirk where they were living above a hotel of some sort. I remember them living in St. Boniface. I don't know if Michael was maybe, Cameron was maybe born when they lived in St. Boniface, or maybe it was just you.
No, Cameron was there too.
Yeah. Brian and I would ride our bike from Gordon Avenue in Elmwood and ride down Archibald and ride our bike to Merle and Laddie's and sleep over there. And it was really a treat. I was saying to Michael today that we would, at least maybe me, we'd take 2 chairs, put them together, and that's where we slept. That's where I slept. It was always a treat to go to Merle and Laddie's. My mom and dad didn't have a car, so any place we went, it was with Merle and Laddie or Don, who also had a car. So living in St. Boniface, they lived in Transcona, they lived in Saskatoon. We didn't ride our bikes to Transcona. Took a bus, but it took forever. Like, I don't know, maybe 1 bus every half hour. I forget. That was quite a while ago. They moved to Saskatoon, and Brian and I would go to Saskatoon. I don't know, 2 or 3 times we went to Saskatoon, and then they moved back to Winnipeg and 22 George Suddy Bay eventually. So all of my memories have to do with family, and I know for sure that none of them were the favorites. I'll have to get my handkerchief ready. So I'm going to leave you with these words from Merle. To my family, death is nothing at all. It does not count. I've only slipped away into the next room. Nothing has happened. Everything remains exactly as it was. I am I, and you are you, and the old life that we live so fondly together is untouched, unchanged. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by the old familiar name. Speak of me in the easy way
which you always used. Put no difference into your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh, as we always laughed, at the little jokes that we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without an effort, without the ghost of a shadow upon it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolute and unbroken continuity. What is this death but a negligible accident? Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I made it pretty far. I was saying to Alexis in a message, and I'd be reading this to myself or out loud a bit to make sure that I get through it reasonably well, but I'd reach a spot and the tears would come. And then I get past that and take a breath and read some more. And each time that I read it would be a different spot. And I'm surprised right now that I got this far. But there's only a little bit more. But I'm going to say something I forgot to say. I went through this, and for those of you who know Merle, the grammar and the punctuation is absolutely correct. There were no errors in comma, in structure, so it was done very well. I am but waiting for you. For an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. Love, Anna.
Hi, my name is Kat Ives Lawrence, and I met Merle in the early 50s with Lottie, and ever since then, she's just a wonderful friend. She was always in my mind. We had a friendship that we really didn't visit each other, but we were always there in mind. She was a character, and that's what I really liked about her, because she said what she thought. I really liked that about her. But she was a dear friend. We really didn't visit back and forth, but we still knew we had that connection. And we really cherished her friendship. We also went out before we were married. Laddie was such a good person. I don't know really what more to say about her, but I really did love her. Although we didn't see much of each other. But she was a lifelong friend who would really remember forever. So blessed world. Thank you very much.
Gracious God, you are a mystery to us, a mystery revealed in the life that Merle lived among us, a mystery of love that is inexplicable, a mystery of character that sets its seeds in our hearts. I ask, O God, that each one here treasure the memory of Merle, let it grow like a shady tree in their hearts, so that in times of trouble they remember her name, remember her spirit, and in times when they seem lost and alone, help them, O God, to speak to her and listen to the quietness of her voice, assuring them that they are loved, that they are cared for, and that there will be a day of reunion. Help us all, O God, to find our way forward in confidence and in hope, never forgetting that laughter is the best medicine. We pray this so that your name be glorified. Amen.
Have you got me, Tom? My name is Paul Mazzella. I do have something I do have to tell you about that made me think a lot of what Bob was saying at the end of his bit there. About a week ago, I was checking in with Tom about whether I should sing this song and how it was going to go down. And you just need a little bit of context to understand the significance of this. We were talking and I was waiting for Tom to reply to one of my texts. And someone I hadn't heard from in an awfully long time just randomly sends me this little cartoon. Now, I'm a bluegrass gospel musician. My first vehicle out of high school, or during high school, was a 53 Chevy Suburban. In the cartoon, and sorry, I should also tell you one other thing. One of the greatest bluegrass songs ever written is called Foggy Mountain Breakdown by Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. There's a cartoon of my 53 Chevy Suburban broken down with the wheel off. At the foothills of the Foggy Mountains, there's a sign saying, "Welcome to the Foggy Mountains." And I kid you not, because I've lived long enough to know that outside the confines of this room, that Merle is really not that common of a name. Let alone for a woman, but yet on the side of the stand of this random cartoon sent to me by somebody, it says Merle's Instrument Repair. That's my confirmation, and that's why I'm here today. So I want to take a quick look at this because I discovered when I checked that I've been actually singing the wrong words to this song for quite a long time. I looked into the face of an old saint of God. I thought your race has ended, your life's crown you won, separated for the present, but soon to live again. She's only gone away with a friend, gone away with a friend, someone closer than a brother, someone who loves you more than children love their mother. He holds you very close in the palm of his hand. Let it read on my tombstone, gone away with a friend. Now he's my constant companion through life's joy and life's pain. All my hopes and my fears I hold in his dear name. And when my soul breathes free from the ties that bind me here, I'm going away with Jesus, no greater friend so dear. Gone away with a friend, someone closer than a brother, someone who loves you more than children love their mother. He holds you very close in the palm of his hand. Let it read on my tombstone, gone away with a friend.
Just about come to the end of our service. I'd like to leave a couple of words with you, and I'm hoping you'll hear Merle's voice, Merle's spirit as I read these words. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. When times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay you down. And then these last words, peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid.
This final song that we're going to sing was written by a friend of ours, John Went, and Mum loved it, and it's a farewell song.